Did a Eucharistic miracle really get caught on camera in America? The footage is astonishing, and it's sparking conversations about faith, science, and the divine all over the world. Let's dive into what happened at St. Thomas Church in Thomaston, Connecticut, and explore one of the most talked about religious events in recent memory. It all started on March 5, 2023. During Mass, an extraordinary minister of Holy Communion was distributing the Eucharist when they noticed something wasn't right. After the service, they realized a consecrated host was missing. It couldn't be found anywhere. According to Catholic practice, if a host is dropped or misplaced, it must be respectfully dissolved in water until it's no longer recognizable as bread, and then the water is returned to the earth. So, following protocol, the priest, Father Joseph Crowley, placed the remaining consecrated hosts from that Mass into a bowl of water in the church's tabernacle. This is a standard procedure, a way to handle the body of Christ with the utmost reverence. Usually, a host dissolves in a matter of minutes, but this time, something completely different happened. Days went by, and the host didn't dissolve. Instead, it seemed to change. 5 days later, on March 10th, Father Crowley checked the bowl. He was stunned. The host was still intact, and a reddish, blood-like substance had spread across it, almost enveloping it. It looked like human tissue. He immediately contacted the Archbishop of Hartford, Leonard Blair, who initiated a formal investigation. The church announced a potential miracle, and soon, word began to spread like wildfire. Pilgrims started flocking to Thomaston, hoping to witness this incredible sign for themselves. The archdiocese took the investigation very seriously. They sealed the vessel containing the host and moved it to a secure location. The plan was clear: subject the substance to rigorous scientific testing to determine what it was. This is a crucial step in any investigation of a potential Eucharistic miracle. The Church doesn't just take these things at face value. It seeks to understand them through both faith and reason. Now, why is this such a big deal? For Catholics, the Eucharist is not just a symbol. So, when a host appears to physically bleed or turn into heart tissue, it's seen as a powerful, tangible confirmation of this core belief. A discarded host was placed in water, and days later, it transformed into a bloody piece of flesh. A scientific analysis, done without revealing the sample's religious origin, concluded it was part of a human heart ventricle. The tissue was from a person who had been under extreme stress, as if they had been severely beaten around the chest. The parallels to Christ's Passion are hard to ignore. These events in Lanciano and Buenos Aires set a precedent. They show a pattern: a host appears to bleed, and scientific testing reveals human heart tissue, often of blood type AB. Believers were expecting a similar outcome, a scientific validation of a divine mystery. As the investigation in Thomaston got underway, the archdiocese kept the public informed, but also urged caution and prayer. They emphasized that until the scientific results were in, no definitive conclusions could be made. The suspense built for over a year. The world waited. Was this another Lanciano, another Buenos Aires? Or was there a natural explanation for the strange red substance? People on social media were buzzing. Some were convinced it was a miracle, a sign for our times. Others were skeptical, suggesting it could be a type of red mold or bacteria, like Serratia marcescens, which is known to grow on starchy surfaces and produce a reddish pigment. This miracle bread phenomenon has been documented for centuries and is a common natural explanation for such events. The skeptics pointed out that placing a wafer made of flour and water into a bowl of water creates the perfect environment for mold or bacteria to grow. But the believers held firm. They argued that the speed and appearance of the substance, as well as the context in which it occurred, pointed to something beyond a simple mold. Finally, in March 2024, almost exactly 1 year after the event, the Archdiocese of Hartford released the results. The conclusion was unexpected. The official statement announced that the formal investigation had been closed. The testing had determined that the reddish substance was not of human origin. It wasn't blood. According to the archdiocese, the scientific analysis concluded that the phenomenon was likely caused by a common red mold. The statement explained that while the Church investigates all claims of miracles, it also relies on science to rule out natural causes. In this case, science provided a natural explanation. Archbishop Blair stated, "The reddish coloring was found to be the result of a natural cause," and he affirmed that the substance was not a Eucharistic miracle. This news was a shock to many. Those who had traveled to the church, who had prayed before what they believed was a miracle, were left with a lot of questions. Some felt disappointed, even let down. Skeptics felt vindicated, saying, "See?" Interestingly, the archdiocese's statement didn't diminish the faith of the local community. Father Crowley, the priest at the center of it all, handled the announcement with grace and wisdom. He emphasized that even if this specific event wasn't a supernatural miracle, the true miracle of the Eucharist happens at every single Mass. He reminded his parishioners that faith isn't built on signs and wonders, but on a deep, personal relationship with God. The Eucharist is Christ's real presence, whether it visibly bleeds or not. This perspective is really important. Eucharistic miracles, when they do occur, are seen as extraordinary gifts, meant to strengthen belief. The foundation is the promise of Jesus himself. "This is my body, this is my blood." The real miracle is transubstantiation itself, which occurs quietly and invisibly on altars around the world every day. So, what can we take away from the Thomaston event? First, it shows the Church's commitment to truth. The archdiocese didn't try to hide the scientific findings or spin the story. They conducted a thorough, transparent investigation and reported the results honestly, even when those results contradicted the initial hopes of many. This demonstrates an integrity that respects both faith and reason. Second, the event sparked a global conversation about the Eucharist at a time when belief in the real presence has been declining, even among Catholics. For a whole year, people were talking, debating, and learning about one of the central mysteries of Christianity. Even if it wasn't a miracle, it brought people's attention back to the Mass and the meaning of Holy Communion, in a way that itself could be seen as a form of grace. And third, it serves as a powerful reminder of what faith truly is. It's not about chasing signs or needing constant proof. It's about trust. It's about believing in the unseen. The people of Thomaston didn't lose their faith when the scientific results came in. If anything, their faith was refined and deepened. They were reminded that the greatest miracle is the one they can participate in every Sunday. The story of the Connecticut host is a fascinating modern-day tale of faith, science, and mystery. It captured the imagination of millions and forced us to ask big questions. While the conclusion might not have been what some were hoping for, it provided a powerful lesson in itself. The search for God doesn't always end with a burning bush or a bleeding host. Sometimes it ends with a quiet, humble return to the core truths of one's faith, stronger and more resilient than before. What do you think about this story? Does the scientific explanation settle it for you, or do you think there's more to it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. It's a complex topic, and I'd love to hear your perspective. Thanks for watching, and if you found this story as fascinating as I did, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into stories that sit at the intersection of faith and our modern world. See you next time.